Who are we waiting on? Looks like we're waiting for Mr. Morrow.
Welcome to Kristen. Is this your first day?
Yes, it is.
Well, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you all.
Lisa, you're muted.
I can hear her.
Hi, Kristen. Welcome.
Thank you.
I was waiting to see if Mr. Morrow joined in, but as I said earlier, this is Kristen's first meeting. I wanted her to buzz in just to get a flavor of the meeting and meet everybody. I'm hoping by March she'll be up and running and we'll be doing this without me. Not that I won't miss you all, but I am moving on.
Not going too far though.
No.
So yeah, so Ken Moore I know is coming because I talked to him.
Okay.
And I see Steve. And I don't see Jeff Turner. Others?
He's coming in now.
Okay. Hi, Jeff. So how are we doing with time?
We're past 5:30. You can go ahead and start if you like.
I am going to make a motion to open the Historic Preservation Board meeting for Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Do I have a second? Ginny, you're muted.
I second. Bill McBride.
Okay, roll call vote. Member McBride.
Present.
Member Searle.
Yes.
Member Evans.
Yes.
Chairperson Cove.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. So I just want to let the community know that we do not have our board member, Jeff Pollock, here today. He is on vacation in sunny Florida. So thank you so much for Bill McBride, who is our alternate, who is joining us tonight so that we have our full board here. I also want to ask if anybody has anything to disclose or if they have any conflict with any of the applications tonight.
Well, I will ask Jeff Turner about this. The project for the Village Hall is out of Bureau Architecture, and that project was in the office while I was still an owner, although I did not participate in that project actually, personally in any way. So you decide whether it's a conflict or not.
Do you have any financial interest to tail or anything from Barrow?
Pardon me?
Is there any salary continuation or financial arrangement that you would have?
Well, yes. I'm being there's a loan that is repaid to me.
I think it'd probably be prudent to recuse.
Okay. I will recuse myself for the application for the Village Hall. May I respond to questions? Because I know Lisa had some questions about what she was looking at.
I would say if you're recused, you cannot participate in the proceeding.
Okay, that's fine.
Can I also state this is just information only for the Village Hall. This isn't our formal application yet.
Okay.
I'd like to say that my current property of residence abuts the St. Louis property. I'm on the back end, so what they're proposing doesn't directly impact me, but I did want to disclose that to the board. Okay. Is there anybody else that needs to make any statements or recuse themselves for any reason?
I do not have any reason to accuse myself for anything, Bill McBride.
Okay, thank you. Dorothea, just a clarifying statement, looking at the agenda. It looks like 58 State Street is information only. I didn't know that the St. Louis, or wait, the Village Hall was also information only. I didn't realize that.
No, I apologize. I normally try to put information only, and apparently in my sleep, I didn't put it in.
Okay, so that's just information only. So we have 2 information.
Yep.
All right. Okay, that helps.
Yep.
All right, so let's begin. Let's move to our first applicant, which is 15 Elmbrook Road. And we have, is it Joe Handock?
Yep, I'm pulling him in right now so he can interact with the board. Mr. and Mrs. Hancock, you're free to speak to the board. Or not.
They're muted.
Yep, I see that. Oh, okay, I think.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, here I am.
So thank you for being here, Hancocks. I would like to, as we move forward on this application, if it would be all right with everybody, I'd like to separate these two when we discuss them, because it would make more sense if we can talk first about the door on the breezeway porch, and then we can talk about the window. Is that okay with everyone? Okay, so let's just talk, and I know that this was presented to us already in the past, and we just needed more information. If I recall, the door seemed to be a little bit more self-explanatory, and I don't really see any questions for the applicant about the door. It looks like you're doing the exact same configuration on the back side of this breezeway as you have on the front side.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so everything's identical. That was approved by the board on the front side, so I don't see any problems on my end.
Excuse me, that was approved by the board, Lisa?
Yes, this was approved by the board, not our board, but in the past. I think it might have been my board actually, but it was approved at one time. Yeah, because this was not originally there.
Was it not the original part of the porch that was put on the other side of the door?
The other, what do you mean the other side of the door?
We're talking about the door on the rear side, and we're referring to the front side. Was that original with the porch?
Yeah, when the porch was put on, am I correct, Mr. Hancock?
Good question. The current owners, Jake and Sean Deagle, have been there just since August. So I couldn't answer any questions.
Hey, this is Jake Deagle speaking. I'm on the call here, but not on video. Joe, that's correct. Since we've moved in, we obviously have made no improvements. That the porch was arranged that way when we purchased the home.
I think when they put that breezeway in, they put that door in, if I recall.
Okay, I raised this question for everybody to think about. I first have a question. Is the porch, both sides, equally visible from a public way? Or was the other side, the front side, not as visible?
I think the front side is actually more visible than the back side. I agree with that.
Okay, all right. Well, this is something to think about. The rear side that we're talking about, putting the door on, would change the distinguishing architectural feature of that side of the building by not following that line, that curved line, as I see it at the top of the door. It would just put a straight door across.
No, that's not correct. Excuse me, that's not correct. The door will be curved exactly like the front door is. It'll be a carbon copy of the front door. My drawing should indicate a slight curvature at the top of the door. And the intent is to have it look exactly like the front.
The drawing does not indicate that. So you're not changing the new door on the rear.
I submitted this is the second application, and the previous application did show the door, and I believe it had a slight curvature at the top.
Yeah, what I'm looking at here shows a straight line across, but you're saying that's not true. You're going to follow that curvature that exists on the window now. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and then I don't know if you saw this, Bill, but this is a drawing and you can clearly see the curvature on the top of the door.
Okay, I didn't see that and the drawing. Okay.
That was submitted with the first application.
Yeah, there's a picture and a drawing, both showing a curvature at the top of the door.
Okay, great. The new curvature. Okay, great.
Okay, Kendra, do you have any questions about the breezeway door?
No, I felt comfortable the last time. I think the door is pretty straightforward.
Okay, Ginny?
I don't have a problem with the door. I have a problem with the drawings that were submitted the second time. And I continue to maintain that it's not an adequate representation according to the requirements of the application form. I don't have a problem with the door. I don't necessarily have a problem with the work. I have a problem with the content of the application.
This is Jake Deagle, the homeowner. So this is the second time we've been through this. We've submitted the application well in advance of the meeting. We've received no comments from the board. We're here for our approval. So it's hard for us to understand the process that you guys use without giving us comments. Joe has submitted the application, been in touch with the board. It'd be nice to understand in advance of the meeting if folks have questions.
So, you know, that statement from Ginny really was not intended for you as much as it's intended for our own administration. We're trying to work on the application process to make it easier for everybody and to make sure that we check all the boxes. So that is kind of on our end. So don't worry about that. We're working on that process. Ginny is just making a statement as to moving forward. We want to make sure that we have the appropriate drawings and plans so that we can make a decision. Yes, Steve.
Yeah, I when Ginny contacted me in regards to this application, I reached out to the contractor. He provided a set of drawings. They're 2A and 2B that show the middle section. It shows the whole back of the house. The only problem is the house is so wide, he could not draw it in one piece. So he chose to draw it in 3 sheets. That was sent to everybody. There's one that shows the 2 windows in the center of 2 other drawings. And then there's a separate page that shows the 3 windows, the proposed windows with all the dimensions of the whole width of the building, the height.
I have that. I have that. That's not my point. Let's go, just go on. If I'm the only one that has an issue with it, please go on. It's not the applicant's problem.
Okay, so we'll talk about that on our own end, but let's move forward. So is there anybody have any other questions for that door? Okay, so we're gonna move on to the window change that they have proposed. So it looks like they're removing a door and they are making a larger window to span across where the door, or close to where the door was.
Yeah, no, so the intent is to have the window span from the existing opening of the window to the end where the door is. So in other words, the window would fill where the door is, and then we would fill in under where the window is with, you know, proper siding and things like that. So basically it would just be a larger window.
Okay, and then your drawing that you right here, you put down that you'll have a grid, you'll have grids.
Yes, there will be, they will match the existing grid pattern of the other windows.
Okay, because one grid pattern you have 8/8 and another you have 4/4. So which one are you matching?
Well, whatever is appropriate for the window arrangement, which I believe would be the two outer wings of the windows. The casement windows would be 4/4, and then probably the middle window, I guess, would be 8/8.
Well, this is one full window unit, correct? The three?
It'll actually be 3 units put together, 3 separate units put together.
So my understanding, there's no 3 window combination on the house at all anywhere, correct?
There are, let's see, I don't know about the front and the back. There are 2 double arrangements, yes.
Right, so
it looks to me from the pictures, the side pictures that the, I'm sorry, no, you're right, yeah.
Okay, so then this is gonna be the only 3 window bay that would be on this house.
Yeah, the 2 outer ones would be casement style, and then the center one would be a fixed stationary panel.
So, and they're going to be, so the center one's going to be wider than the 2 sides.
That is correct.
Did you ever think of doing them so that they're even, so that they look like the rest of the windows on the house, kind of like these?
Well, those are double hung. So we were hoping to do a casement style, which is a little more convenient for over the kitchen sink area, which is where that window unit would be located.
Another detail about the existing double hung windows that I don't think anybody's picking up on is that these are cottage windows. The upper sash has 6 lights. The bottom sash has 9 lights. But this is a casement window and this is on the opposite side of the house. Is that correct?
It's on the back side of the house, yes.
Well, that's what
No, Ginny, it's on the same side of the house, right? This picture right here that we're looking at. This is the.
No,
oh yeah. I'm sorry. You're correct.
I am looking at this.
Yep.
This photograph, which I believe is the front of the house, and it's
no, that's the back of the house.
Oh, that's the back of my house. That is the back of my house. The front is on Elmbrook Avenue, Elmbrook Drive. That's the back of the house.
That's what you can see from South Street. What you just showed, Ginny. I guess my question about that window, because it is different than the other windows, because the one that's currently there is different than all the windows. Is that an accurate statement?
Well, I would consider that a casement style window that's there now. The current kitchen window is basically a casement style.
But it stands alone, is what it looks different than everything else.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's in its place.
So we're kind of replacing a unique window with a different unique window, is my point.
Yeah. Yeah, the thought would be is that, 2 outer casements and a middle stationary window unit.
So I'm just trying to get a feel for the rest of the windows. Like Ginny says, you have a 6/8 on the 2 side windows that are going to be next to the new window. And then the ones all the way down, I don't know if you can see me.
Well, I'm sorry, the one immediately, as you face the back of the house here, the one immediately to the right, I believe that's a bathroom window. That is a 6/6 even sash. Ginny is correct. The windows on the left are a cottage style. They're in the current dining room, and they are a different style.
And how about the windows over here? Are those cottage style as well? I can't really get a good feel for those. Over 6.
The far ones over, honestly, I'm not sure about that.
This is why you need accurate drawings that show the full elevation to avoid this kind of, well, what is this? What is that?
The 3-page set shows every window on the back of the house in their configuration.
It's not a full elevation drawing, Stephen. I don't want to have a discussion about this with you right now. It's not appropriate for this meeting.
But it shows every window with their configuration in their plane across the whole back of the house. I don't understand what more you would need in regards to the view of the back of the home.
can you pull up what form you're talking about that shows, are you talking about this form right here?
No, that's a picture of the back, but I sent an email with the new drawings that the contractor provided to everybody. That was a 4-page set.
Do you have it with you? Is it this? Are you talking about this right here?
That should be, is that marked like page 1, 2A, 2B?
Page 3? Yeah, page 2B.
Yes.
Page 2.
2A, 2B, and 3. There should be a 1, 2A, 2B, and 3.
I see 2A, 2B. Okay, hold on. Wait, let's see. Here's 1. Okay, so is this 1 with the door?
No. No.
I don't have. I have 2A, 2B, and Ginny, do you have these?
Yes, I do. We should have an existing drawing and a proposed drawing.
Yes.
That shows the full elevation. The whole thing complete on one sheet of paper.
It was too large. I mean,
then you use a smaller scale.
Hey, this is Jake Deagle. So again, we submitted our application in advance. We received no comments from the board. So can I request that we move on to a decision here, and you guys can discuss this offline?
Well, we can't make a decision until we understand the proposed drawing. So we're trying to do that for you.
Okay.
At the last meeting, it was requested that scale elevation drawings be provided. That was the feedback you got from our first meeting on this project.
And that's what I contacted to the contractor, and he provided a drawing. And if he would have put that drawing on one sheet of paper, you wouldn't be able to see any of it because it's too wide to do in one sheet of paper. That's why he did it in 3 sheets.
Let's move forward, because I'm taking a look at 2B. The new window here. I don't see any grills on here. I don't know how many panes you're doing. I don't know what that's going to be. It's not drawn on here. It's all it says is new window. It will have grids.
Okay. And let me, if I can clarify that, the new window grid pattern would match the existing window grid pattern on the kitchen window, which is the smaller window immediately to the right of the door. It would be a 6/6 for the 2 outside casement windows. And then the middle window would probably end up being either an 8/8 or a 6/6, depending on the exact layout of the casement, or I'm sorry, of the frame.
Excuse me, you're identifying the grids using double hung window terms, 6/6. That's for double hung windows. You are proposing casement windows, is that correct?
Well, yeah, 6/6, excuse me, but 6/6 is a common window nomenclature, whether you're talking about a casement window or a double hung window.
Excuse me, no, it is not. The appropriate termination for that is going to be a
6x6.
6/6. It's going to be a 12 light 3x6 or 3x4.
Well, either way, the 2 outside casements would have 6 grids apiece. Each casement would have 6 grids in it, and then the middle stationary panel would probably have a total of 9 grids.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there is a drawing here, which it looks like this is the window you're talking about. And it does look like it has a 6/6 and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10/10. Is that not correct?
Let's see. Yes, I'm sorry. That is one of the drawings that I believe I submitted with the first application.
So is this the one you're talking about, or not?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Lisa, for your information, each window is discussed separately. It's not 10 over something. It's one window, the middle window, then
Right.
the next window.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. He has the two side windows as technically a 6 over 6. And then the center one, it looks like he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 over 10. Which, I mean, I'm probably not even saying that right. See that, Ginny?
Yeah, let me pull out this specs again.
Technically, the way that Ginny would term that, that would be a 3 by 4, and then a 5 by 4, and a 3 by 4.
No,
So
it's a 4. I'm looking at a 4 by 4. The one that you're holding up there, Lisa, the center is a 4 by 4.
No, it's 5 by 4, Jenny. It's 20. The picture that Lisa's holding up is a 5 by 4. It's a 3 by 4 on the side lights.
Okay. I'm looking at the drawings that came in, and I'm looking at two separate images that don't jive.
You are right, Jenny. I do see another drawing that had a 4 by 4 for the center and
That's
3 by 4, 3 by 4. So that has to be defined.
And we're happy to clarify whatever, you know, we need to clarify. It's just that this is kind of our concept here.
Okay, well, we need to know, are you, because these two are different. So which one are you proposing? Because one of them says it's 22.5 either side and the 36 center. This says it's 24 on either side and the 36 center.
Okay, I think there might have been a little confusion on my end from all the various paperwork. I believe we are shooting for the 24 on either side with a 36 center.
Okay.
What's going to be the deciding factor on whether it's one or the other? Whether you have
this is the homeowner, and the ladder dimension is correct. We've been that's correct, Joe. Yep, you got it.
The 24.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other comments or questions? Bill?
No, I have no further questions. We need to make sure we clarify everything
I'm sure that I can clarify that with Steve once we get, you know,
it has to be clarified for their findings. That's the thing.
And when we vote on this, we've got to vote on the exact dimensions.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it's definitely 24.
Okay.
And the middle panel would be 36 and the other panel would be the 24.
Which would make it, based on the width in the grid, would make it 3 by 4 side lights, 5 by 4 center, 3 by 4 side light, in order to accommodate the 24, 36, 24. And that way the grid pattern would be equal sized through each pane.
Okay.
What's the center? What's the center?
Center would be a 5 by 4.
Okay. Now, can I just ask you another question? The current window that's there, the one that's next to the door, is this window going to be the same height, as high as this window? Are you pulling it down?
No, it will be the same height. And the goal is to have the trim, when we finalize the trim, which will match the existing, it will be the exact same height as it is now. That the new window will be the same height as that.
Okay.
There's no identifier on the drawing that indicates the trim is going to match existing. So whatever decision is made, if it's approved, that detail needs to be included.
I thought I had indicated that on one of the drawings. I apologize. I've been doing a lot of drawing for this application, and I've been trying to fill in all the details, but it is absolutely our intent to match all the existing siding details and all the existing trim details.
And the new window is a wood window?
They will be wood windows. Yes, they are a Lincoln brand, which are a full wood casement style for the casements, and then the stationary panel will also be wood, interior and exterior. And then the exterior trim will match the existing, which is a 5/4 board. Basically, it's 5/4 by 4 I believe is the, if I recall my dimensions correctly.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion? Any other questions? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion? Anyone? You have my little motion sheet. I guess I'm going to make the motion here. Okay, so I make a motion on the HPB on February, where are we, 16? My brother's birthday, 2022. The following motion was made. I make a motion that the HPB approve with conditions the application for a door and window replacement made by Joe Hancock at the property located at, where are we, 15 Elmbrook Road. The additions to the application are the window, which will be a 3x4 side light on either side of the main window and a 5x4 center. The center spans 36 inches wide. The two side lights are 24 inches wide. The trim will match the existing trim on the rest of the house. These are all, this window is all wood window. And the door will have an arch, just like the drawing that was submitted. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Kendra Evans.
Okay, roll call. Member Searle.
I will vote no because I do not believe the application contains appropriate required information.
Member McBride.
I vote yes, both based upon the way it was proposed in the motion.
Member Evans.
Yes.
Member Morrow, didn't notice when you chimed in. Are you comfortable voting or no?
He's muted.
You're muted.
Ken, you're muted.
Ken, you're muted.
And just logged on.
Ken, you're muted. Do you see your little mute sign there? Dorothea, can you unmute him?
I cannot unmute him. I can ask him to unmute. That's the most I can do.
Want me to call him on his phone?
Ken, if you could take a look at the screen, do you feel comfortable voting? Go yes or no. Do you feel comfortable voting?
No, we can't do that. It's got to be verbal.
All right, Ken, do you know how to unmute yourself?
I don't think he can hear you.
I'm not sure he can either. He's not responding as though he can hear.
You want me to call him on his phone?
Sure.
Hey,
Okay.
Ken, can you hear us? Shake your head yes. Yeah, he can't hear us.
All right, I'll call him on his phone.
He just shook his head. Maybe
Yeah.
Ken can log off.
Oh, there he is. Wait a minute. I think he's on.
Okay.
I came in at the very tail end of 5th Elmbrook.
Okay, so do you feel comfortable voting on this? You saw the application already. Do you feel comfortable voting without hearing any of the discussion, or do you want to abstain?
I would recommend that Ken abstain, given that the involved conversation that the board had on this matter.
All
Okay.
right, I'll abstain then.
Okay, Chairperson Coe.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, guys, good luck with your project.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
make sure you get with me for the permits before you do anything.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, Steve. Thank you.
All right.
So Ginny, I just to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I just got an email from Elisa Plummer, who has sent me some preliminary application information as to how to make this more complete. So we will talk about that at our next discussion, okay?
How to make what more complete? The application more complete?
The application more complete so that we have check boxes and everything is going to be hopefully the way we like to see it, okay?
Right.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
just finalizing all your new application requirements and the checklist.
I
Yeah.
received that today. I have not reviewed it yet.
I haven't either, but it's in the process. So we're getting close. Thank you. All right, let's go to 62 South Main Street, St. Louis Church. Is there anybody here from the church?
Yes, hold on. Okay.
Hello.
Ms. Schrecker and Mr. Bernard, you should be okay to speak.
Okay,
Hi.
Hi,
I'm
Sally.
Sally Schrecker. I'm with the church, and I have with me Casey Bernard from Labella Associates.
Okay, great.
And would like to start by giving you just a little context. The church was built in 1957, and at that time, I'm sure they installed what they thought would be a heating system that would last forever. Well, it has lasted over 60 years, but it's now time to replace it. And you might think that there's a big basement under that building, but in fact, there's only a small area of basement and a very small mechanical room on the main street facade of the church. And so in order to replace the equipment, we have to be able to get to that mechanical room. And of course, we're trying to be more energy efficient, take advantage of newer technology that lets us be more energy efficient. And having explored for close to 2 years different options of what would fit down through the basement stairway, we found that there were very limited options. And so what we've gone through the planning and zoning board with is to take the area where the current air conditioning condenser is hidden behind the arborvitae and replace that equipment with equipment that will also be air handler. And then that equipment needs to be connected to the front basement area, center front stage of the church on Main Street. And in order to get the ductwork to that location, we are proposing running one layer of it below ground and one layer above ground, and taking a cue, I guess you would say, from the original church structure, which had planters across the front. We propose replicating that planter on the south side, and that would be effectively a knee wall. It would not be used as a planter, it would be a knee wall that would hide that layer of ductwork. So we have some pictures to show, and I think Casey's going to bring some up.
Sally, can I ask 2 questions?
Sure.
I spoke to Justin. We had an actual in-person meeting, him and I over there just before we met today, because I can get a better understanding. The condenser is currently in the basement. Is that correct?
No, it's outside. It's hidden by the arborvitaes.
Okay. And what's in the basement?
The actual furnace. It's as big as a, I don't know how to describe how big it is. It's as big as a train.
So what's in there now in the basement is going to be combined with what's up behind the arborvitae.
Not entirely, partially, yes. There will still be heat provided in the basement. What we're proposing is 3 boilers in the basement, and we're going with 3 because they'll be small enough that we can physically get them down the stairs and into the space. Okay. So the heat will be still provided in the basement, but the blower, so to speak, the air handler, will be outside with the condensing unit.
And then as far as the wall, you're using the wall to hide the connections, right?
Correct. Casey, can you show us a cross section?
And those are underground?
One will be underground, but one will run above ground. And the reason we spend a lot of time on that with planning and zoning is historically we have had significant water table problems in the church basement. And we really don't want to go deeper in the ground and displace more water and also run the risk of having water infiltrate the ducts. So if you look at this floor plan, you can go back to that, Casey. Back to, there you go. So the target area that we have to get to is up at the top of the screen at the left now. It's this little box. That's the altar area, and immediately under that is the mechanical room. So that's where all the ductwork comes back to. And so that's obviously where we need to connect. And then at the bottom left of the screen, the box with the 3 little circles, 4 little circles, I'm sorry, that would be the new unit in the same place as the present condenser. And then this vertical box is the ductwork running from it. To enter the church, there is an existing opening on the front of the church where currently the outside air is sucked into the heating system. And that opening in the foundation is large enough for the 2 trunks, the 2 pieces of duct to fit through and then connect to the boilers to provide heat.
Okay, so what you're doing for us today, because I know that that was all information that went through planning and zoning, so they got the mechanics of all of this. So our charge as a preservation board is to make sure that the unit and any ductwork is hidden appropriately for the architecture of the building.
Correct.
So
correct. So
is the wall, is that correct?
So you're reviewing
Lisa,
the wall.
Lisa, the charge of the HPB is to review the knee wall for appropriateness.
Okay, so it's just the knee, not any landscaping tonight.
Correct, just the knee wall.
Okay, do we have any materials list on the knee wall? Do we have a photo of what the knee wall is going to look like?
Okay, I'm going to go first to a painting. Casey, can you bring up the painting?
Yep. May I make a comment here? These are very nice mechanical drawings. The HPB does not care about the mechanical system, as Jeff has pointed out. Our job is to look at the knee wall, and on the page that was just put up, M102, there's a tiny, what we received was a very tiny image that's very dark, and that's the only elevation drawing that was provided to us. In this instance, again, we don't care about all the mechanical drawings. That's not our purview. It makes no, it has no impact on our decision, the mechanical system. We need to see an elevation drawing, a clear elevation drawing that shows what is proposed. And we don't have that.
I have to agree with Ginny on this. It's the one thing that we had asked for during the information session, is to make sure that we could see that knee wall without landscaping. I have a very difficult time voting with what was in the packet ahead of the meeting.
Well,
what information thing?
I'm sorry, Claire, who's asking a question?
Yep, Sally Schrecker.
Okay,
yeah,
Sally.
I realized that not all the materials that we prepared got put into your packet, but you did make a reference to some kind of an informational thing.
Yeah, so you guys came,
something in the, I'm sorry.
We heard this project as an information only, and we had talked about primarily the wall. That was our biggest concern, and that we would need elevation drawings and materials list and a visual of what that wall is going to look like. That's our concern.
Okay, well, I don't recall there being an informational meeting.
Yeah,
I don't either. If there was an informational meeting, I must not have been in attendance.
No, this is the first time we've been before HPB.
Well, Kendra, do you remember talking about this?
I do. That's, yeah, I knew this was coming.
Why I'm surprised.
And Ginny was there. Yeah, we were all there.
Excuse me. Is it possible that Steve just gave us a heads up on what was going on?
I remember we got a heads up that we should be aware that there was going to be a discussion about it.
Okay, well, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we need an elevation drawing of this wall. We need materials list. We need to get a visual of where this is going to be put and placed on the property. So we can't go any further tonight to give, to vote on anything because we don't have anything to vote on. So if we could table this and have Sally, if you can go back to the, landscape architect or whoever's going to do this wall for you and have them do an elevation drawing and a materials list and give us an idea of exactly what this is going to look like and where it's going to be placed on the property, that's what we would vote on. Does that sound okay for you?
Oh, yes, I can understand that.
Okay.
So as I understand this, there was a wall out there historically.
Yes, I'd like to show you that picture.
Do you have pictures of that?
I would urge that we table it though until we have the new dimensions. I don't.
Yeah,
think
okay, but when that comes back,
right, you come back in the packet. Bring us the drawing of what was originally there, so we can kind of just get a visual of what that was, and then what you're proposing to be.
Okay. I'm sure someone in the architectural department at Labella is familiar with the kind of drawings that a preservation board wants to see. They do a lot of preservation work.
Okay, so is that okay to table this? And we'll have you guys get that information to us, and hopefully we'll get you on the agenda for next month.
And can I just interject? So are you seeing the screen right now?
Yes.
Is this, I mean, I realize this is a drawing from the 2000, it was the 2000 renovation project where they did an elevation view. We've superimposed the knee wall and the unit without any landscaping. So, I mean, we have all this, we have a lot of stuff. I don't think everything got into the application that you have. So, I mean, is this what you're asking to, I mean, if you had this in, and we also have renderings. So we've got this existing view, and then we have this proposed view with plantings. I have another one, a rendering with no plantings that if you give me a second, I can pull it up.
If you go back to that image that's a blueprint with the wall superimposed, what is that big gray box on the right-hand side with a leader going to it?
Right, so this is a drawing that I find is maybe the simplest thing to show you existing and new. So the left side, if you can see that, it says existing plan view. This is what's existing now. All right, this is what is proposed. So just to zoom in a little bit here, this is the existing condensing unit. That's the same thing that most houses that have cooling, that's the thing outside that gives you cooling.
The knee wall is not shown on that drawing, is it?
I'm sorry?
The knee wall is not shown on that drawing, I don't believe. Well, unless you can point it out to me. On the existing drawing?
No, on the existing drawing, there is no knee wall. I mean, there are areaways. So this right here is an areaway that is very similar to what the knee wall will be. That's an areaway. And then this is an areaway. And that is all. So Sally I can show you this stuff. So this picture here shows those existing areaways.
Okay.
If you can see that.
Okay.
So what?
There is no knee wall there now. They're just the areaways.
Correct.
Right.
That's what's left from the the original. Casey, if you could scroll up to the top.
Can I go back to the question that I asked with the blueprint that you had? What's the big gray What's the big gray box on the right that's showing in front of the house next door? What is that?
That's not, excuse me, that's not the house next door. That is the parish meeting hall, which is connected to the church. And it is the new rooftop unit. Up at the very top right, it says new RTU. I'm
sorry, I can't see that. Okay, but that's not on the rooftop. That's on the ground, and it's completely obscuring one of the 3 windows on the first floor of that building.
But the existing unit does the same thing.
Yeah, this is a rendering of proposed. So here's the existing view, and this is the proposed rendering.
Okay, and point out to me where the parish meeting hall is on this rendering. Okay.
Is that right, Sally? In the background.
Yes, the one with the shingled gabled roof.
Okay.
Okay, and also this picture is a side picture. I mean, I need to see it from the front, because right now you've got that, you know, we're looking at it from the side. So if you were to stand,
it's from Main Street.
That's the front of the building.
No, I know the
front. At an angle. It's not a full front elevation.
Yeah, right, you're at an angle here. If you were to
this is a photograph.
Right.
This is a photograph.
So what we need is we don't have the dimension of the wall. We don't have the materials of the wall. We don't have it. We don't have the drawing of the wall. I think we've got a lot of fluff in here of mechanics, and we don't need that. We need specific visuals. We don't want to look at it from the sky. We want to look at it from the ground to the building. So what we're saying is we don't have enough information. We can talk with Steve and find out exactly what we need, but this one thing is not going to do it.
But I guess I would ask.
We need to make a motion to table at this point.
So we're going to move forward.
It's not complete for tonight.
So do I have to make a motion to do this, Jeff? Jeff Turner, are you there?
I'm here, yes. But can we, hold on. If you're going to table it, can you give the applicant specific instructions about what it is this board is going to need to see to review their application? It sounds to me like at the very least, you need measured drawings of what is there right now without the shrubbery, measured drawings of what is their plan to be there, materials list,
a photo of the current, what's there right now, head on, and then another photo drawing in the wall, exactly where it's going to be, drawn in on the existing photo.
Well, that's good, but we also need the architectural drawings because that's the requirement of the application.
And the architectural drawings. Okay,
that's
so
that was what I meant when I said
yes.
Drawings of what is there, architectural drawings of what is there, architectural drawings of what they want to put there.
Thank you.
And a photo of what it looks like from the street head on, and then the same photo with the knee wall drawn in to scale. And these are all things that Steve knows this is what we always have needed. So we're going to table that, and we hope to get that information at the next meeting.
I would ask if the applicant has any questions about what we're asking for.
I do not.
Could I just clarify as well, does the RTU, I believe it's slightly changing in dimensions, and so we'd want that included as well in those architectural drawings, not just the knee wall, but also the new unit, as it'll be visible from the street without landscaping?
Okay. Sally, okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys very much, and we'll look forward to hearing you.
Well, thank you for taking the first look.
Okay. All right.
Sally.
We're going to move on to signage at 18 to 20 South Main Street. Do we have our applicant here? Jessica?
Give me a moment. If the applicant for 1820 South Main Street's here, please raise your hand. I don't see you. I'm not seeing him at this time. I suggest the board moves on and we'll come back to him.
The application, if they show up, we'll bring her back. We are going to 52 Heatherhurst Drive for replacement windows.
Okay, the applicant for
renewal by Anderson. I guess Sue is going to be the person speaking on behalf of the homeowner. Is that correct?
I'm still checking.
There's Kenneth Connor.
Okay. And Mr. Connor, you should be able to speak.
Is that Ken?
Hello.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
You too, without a mask even.
I know, nice. In the privacy of your own home.
Yeah.
Okay. So this application has been before us. And Mr. Connor, it looks like on November 8th, I have in the minutes, Mr. Connor from 52 Heatherhurst Drive appeared at a prior meeting on August 9th and the 16th. He understood that a list of craftspeople would be provided by the village for an evaluation for the restoration of the windows. And it looks like Blake Held from Architectural Design came and did an evaluation for you on, where is that date? December 10th, 2021. And at that time, the evaluation was complete. I think everybody does have this evaluation in their packet. Is that right? Okay.
Right.
And what I've noticed here, it says it is possible to repair these windows, though materials and labor are difficult and expensive. So the windows, according to this architect says they are repairable.
Are you looking at the right one? We have two applications with
Steve, meeting is going on. They just bypassed your application again. Dorothea should have called you and
wait, Steve, I think you're on, you have to mute yourself if you're talking to someone else. Thank you. Okay, so this is the Blake Held is the architectural design and restoration firm that did this evaluation. Everybody should have this in their packet. So according to the evaluation, it says it is possible to repair these windows, though materials and labor are difficult and expensive. So that's what I see on this architectural design review. Ken, do you want to say anything about this?
This is Jeff Turner. I would point out the next paragraph.
There is little about the existing windows to merit preservation over replacement. So again, that's an opinion. We're asking him to do an evaluation as to whether these windows are repairable. That was what it was asked of him. That's what our board paid for, because that's what we need to make sure happens before we ask the applicant to repair windows.
Who did we ask that of?
I'm sorry?
Who did we ask that of?
It's Blake Held. Bill, do you know Blake Held?
Blake Held is a former chairman of the APRB.
Former chairman of when it was the APRB at the time.
Right.
So what we asked,
architect with many years experience.
Yeah.
We asked for an independent evaluator to see if these windows are repairable. That was what our board asked this architectural firm to do. And this was a report that came back to us.
The conclusion, what stuck with me was the conclusion. It is my recommendation that these windows be allowed to be replaced with the conditions of that's what I would be basing my vote upon.
So remember though, we didn't ask them to make a conclusion as to whether they should be replaced or repaired. We asked them if they can be repaired. That's all we're asking him. We make the decision whether they are repaired or replaced based on whether they can be repaired. And according to our guides, written numerous places in our guide manual, and I can read that to you if you'd like me. In the Secretary of Interior Standards,
we know that everybody knows the Secretary of Interior Standards, but I thought the point of asking an expert is to get his opinion, not purely on.
And his opinion was they are repairable. That we asked him whether they can be repaired. That is all.
He also came up with a final conclusion of his whole assessment of the house and those windows. He came up with a conclusion.
Steve, we as a board make the decision based on whether they can be repaired or not. Okay, we're not asking him to make a decision as to whether they should be replaced. We're asking him, are they repairable? That's it. That's all we're asking him.
All right.
He said they are repairable. So according to our guides, that is what we are asking everyone to do, is to repair. Not only are they in the interiors, but it's also in our design guidelines. It's written here numerous times to repair rather than replace. So if we follow exactly what's written, because we have to be consistent with everyone, they are repairable. So we can have a discussion on that, but I have to go with what's written in our guides in multiple places. And if you have a reason to step outside of that, then I would like to hear that, but I think it's gonna have to, be a reason that's feasible for us to do that with everybody, because this is what's written. Ginny, do you have any suggestions or any comments?
Sadly, I agree with you. I understand the homeowners' issues and concerns, but our charge and our duty is to adhere to the guidelines that have been adopted by the board, which is repair rather than replace.
I agree with Ginny, based upon what the charge was and what our guidelines are.
Ken Morrow, do you have any comment?
I think you guys have summarized it fairly well.
Before we vote on this application, I'm requesting that the board have an attorney-client session with me.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure how we do that live.
Do we go in another room and do it?
You can't go in another room.
We have breakout rooms set up.
We can't break out room out of a webinar.
I do not want to inconvenience this applicant, but I feel it's necessary that I have an attorney-client session with the board. I'm asking the board to have a quick attorney-client session as soon as we can arrange that, and then bring this applicant back for a special meeting.
I agree to that. I don't know how to facilitate it, but
I agree. I agree.
I agree.
I can't see when I can't hear the conversation.
A question: Are the guidelines the same for post-war homes as everything else?
Yes. Yes.
Am I able to speak?
Sure.
I did go through past meeting minutes, and certainly there were comments about treating post-war homes differently, that they're not made with hardwood materials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And next time we meet, I will pull together the excerpts of those prior meetings where those statements were made and who made them, because the board has made several statements on the record that they don't treat post-war homes as a matter of course as the same as pre-war homes, that the materials that are made for those post-war homes are different, and that there is precedent for approving replacement of post-war homes in this board. Moreover, you have the recommendation of an expert who came to my home, and he honestly didn't understand why anyone would try to repair the windows in my home, given the shape they're in, that they're post-war windows, they were cheap to begin with, and it would be throwing good money after bad to try to repair these windows. And this seems like it's really off the rails, honestly. So I will be very prepared next time we meet if that's what you want to do. And I do think you should have this discussion with your lawyer.
Yeah, well,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, we're going to do that, Mr. Connor, and we definitely, you know,
I will be prepared for the next meeting, and I will have chapter and verse these quotes from prior meetings of the board.
All right, so let's meet with, we'll do an attorney-client session, and then we will get you on a special meeting so that you don't have to wait all another month, okay?
Very good, yeah.
All right, thank you, Ken. Okay, moving on to 21 Washington Ave, roofing.
Ms. Heaple, you'll be allowed to speak.
Okay, can you see me also, or it's not?
You're not visual. You're just available by voice.
Okay.
If that's what you were requesting, I believe.
Yes, thanks. So I don't really know what to say. I got a call yesterday. For context, I'm a public school teacher in a pandemic, so we don't get lunch breaks to make research calls, and you know, basically even make something like a dentist appointment. So I got a phone call yesterday at 3 that this was happening today. I had asked some friends for help to get some more information, but I'm not even sure what else to say. It's just, I mean, basically I'll just go back to, I had an actively leaking roof. Again, it might be hard to understand if you do have like a 9 to 5 where you can make phone calls during the day. What it's like when your roof is leaking, you need to protect your roof. And I've been very careful to take care of my home as my primary investment as a single mom. So I wanted to keep it dry. I wanted to keep it from getting moldy. I knew that I couldn't make architectural changes to the house. I didn't know I was going against, you know, the historic tradition of, you know, by putting a metal roof on. My concern was to protect the integrity of the house. That's how it happened quickly. And I, you know, at this point, I haven't heard from the roofer. I did take your lawyer's recommendation to consult with a lawyer. I tried to consult with a lawyer, but they had represented the roofer in the past. And I mean, just realistically, that is where it left off. So, I mean, I think just one thing to consider is we're in a pandemic, and I know Virginia is involved in the architecture trade, but just for regular people, like these kind of materials aren't as easy to get right now, and labor is not as easy to get. So if you need a roof, you don't have, you know, all of the options to, in terms of acting quickly, and the materials are slow and that kind of thing. So in my situation, the best thing I could do at the time was to quickly get a metal roof placed over the existing roof. And that's what the situation is. There's a metal roof over the existing roof.
So if somebody can just update me, we asked the applicant to get an attorney because we felt that she was inappropriately represented is from the roofer. Is that correct? Can somebody give me a little background on that?
I asked her, I recommended that she get an attorney because she was in a difficult situation with her contractor. That was the only reason I did that, because she had what appeared to me to be at that time legal questions. Anyone who has legal questions should be talking to an attorney. And I don't mean that tritely, I mean that really. So that was the basis of my recommendation, that she get an attorney, so she would fully understand her rights and know best how to proceed in protecting those rights.
And I appreciated the advice. Unfortunately, the couple people that I called either didn't do this kind of advice or the one had already represented the roofer.
The other reason that we tabled it, because I was part of that motion, was so that we could look at the previous ruling regarding the tin roof that's on Rand near my property, because that was voted on, I can't remember the exact date, maybe 2008 by this board. And we wanted to know what the findings were. And so now we have that as a board before we move forward.
So did everybody see the minutes from December 3rd, 2008 in regards to the Rand roof replacement? So they kind of did the opposite. There was a tin roof there. They put architectural shingles on there. As I'm reading the minutes, what I didn't see stated in here was any recognition of the Secretary of Interior. So I didn't see them quote that anywhere in here as kind of like the first line of defense is what you should really be doing first. And I don't see any mention of that at all. I see that they talked about another house that had a roof change in 2004 that was approved. So I just see them going back and back and back to say, well, they did it here, so we have to do it here. So now we did it here, we have to do it here. So my concern is that, and this comes up a lot, this is more of a board training thing than anything, is that, you know, how do we deal with past decisions from a different board with possibly different guidelines? I know Ginny had looked as to whether the guidelines had changed from that time to now. And it kind of puts us in a bind as to how to move forward. Do we move forward based on what we know now and in our board now and what our guidelines say, or do we move forward based on a precedence that was decided from a board from a different time? And I'm just kind of throwing it out there because I'm kind of lost as well, Jeff.
Do you want me to answer that question?
Do I want to answer it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, it's, I'd feel more compelled to follow what I was taught and what's written than to just say, well, since they did it, I guess we'll do it. I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me, because that's going to be the case every time we turn around. Somebody's going to come in and say to us, well, you know what? The guy down the street, you know, 50 years ago had this done. So now why can't we do it? So I'm concerned about how we move forward with everything, not even just this case.
That was not going to be my answer.
Jeff, would you give us your legal perspective, please?
Yes.
My answer would be that you need to do what is architecturally appropriate for the structure that you are reviewing. If there is another approval in the past, you should, if your approval is somehow different than that, differentiate why you are making a different decision. And it may very well be that you just disagree with the rationale that prior board had for making the approval. It may be that the circumstances are different. It may be the house requires a different treatment for whatever reason that might be. But you need to make your decisions for the present application based upon the appropriateness of what is being requested for that particular residence, with a view towards prior decisions and whether they should be guideful or not guideful.
So as I was searching through our materials, let me just present this to the board and to the applicant. Number 2 of the Secretary of Interior, the historic character of a property shall be retained and preserved. The removal of historic materials or alterations of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. So characterize a property. Going to the National Register of Historic Place registration form for this particular property at 21 Washington Ave, it states in parentheses, 2-story frame house with colonial revival features, off-center entrance with gabled hood supported by slender columns, windows generally 8/1 double hung sash, wood dating 2000, concrete block foundation, clapboard siding, and asphalt shingled roof. in the historic inventory form on this property itself, it's checked asphalt shingle roof. So again, by looking at what guides us in our decisions, it's clear that this property had an asphalt shingled roof. I'm sorry, Ginny, you're muted. You're muted, Ginny.
You're muted, Ginny.
It's asphalt. There's no H. Asphalt.
Asphalt shingled roof. So that is what I'm looking at, because this is very particular to this property.
So if I were to think about this application, one of the questions I would have to ask is whether or not the asphalt roof is a contributing architectural feature for this residence.
I would say yes. I was just about to comment about the findings of fact for the previous metal roof approval states, and I think this is completely erroneous, that the asphalt shingle roof in and of itself is not a unique architectural feature or an example of skilled craftsmanship, but has become a standard replacement for older shake roofs, and it is the most common roofing material in use. Well, roofing is absolutely a character-defining feature. If a building has a slate roof, if a building has a traditional, like the Village Hall, has a traditional archaic styled copper standing seam metal roof. That is a character-defining feature of the building. So I take issue with the original decision that the roofing is not a character-defining feature. It absolutely is. If it wasn't a character-defining feature, we wouldn't be having this discussion. And yes, asphalt shingles are the most common modern replacement material for wood shingles, but it is also, as far as I know, at least when I was actively practicing up until 2.5 years ago, it was the replacement material that the SHPO would approve on public funded projects if wood shingles were being replaced.
Ginny, okay,
yes.
So I also want to make a statement. In our building design standards, which ironically was prepared by Paul Zachman, who was the chair in this meeting, states clearly in the roofing section, roofs are a highly visible component of historic buildings in the village. They are among the most recognizable and prominent identifying features of American architectural styles. I mean, there's a whole segment in how significant roofing and roofing materials are.
Yes, exactly.
As much as I feel for the applicant and I would love to just let it go, there's so much here that's structuring me to go by what's written. This is what's written. And I just don't know. I mean, I need some help from my board here.
I wonder, could we table it again? Because I feel like you guys had information that I didn't have. I didn't have that data. And also it seems like not all the board meetings, well, I guess Phil's just off camera, but I'm not sure. Some of the board members are coming and going, and then I'm not sure are you all here or to hear the whole, I don't know. I guess I wonder if we can table it again, because I feel like I could be better prepared.
Sure. Well, you know what, Phil McBride, I think we're all here, and I think Jeff has given us some guidance. He said, look for a rationale based upon history, based upon the code that would allow us to approve this. We haven't been able to find that.
Hold on. I didn't say that. I just want to. I wasn't telling anybody what to do or any conclusion.
No, I'm saying if we were to, in order to move forward, that's what we had to do. Okay, we have looked at the code. We have looked at history. We find nothing that would allow us to approve this based upon those two things. So I think we're ready to make a decision.
Hold on. I would say, hold on. If the applicant is asking us to table this, to provide us with further information, I would strongly urge the board that that's the proper course. And Dorothea has her hand up.
And I would agree with that.
I would too. Go ahead, Dorothea.
Real quick, Steve put this on the agenda. It was I received the application from Steve. So it was my understanding he cleared it with the applicant to put it forward, but it sounds like the applicant wasn't aware it was going to be on the agenda. So to me, that's unfair to the applicant if she was unaware.
And if the applicant is asking to table it, I have no trouble with tabling this application so that she can, give her some time to, look into what she needs to. I have no trouble. I mean, it's already on the house. So it's not like it's, urgent that we make the decision tonight. So can I make a motion? Do I have to make a motion to table this for when the applicant's ready to present to us?
No, if the applicant has requested us to table it, we'll just table it.
Okay. All right. So we'll table this to when the applicant's ready to discuss this again. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Heatwolf, if there's anything that any of the board members can do to assist you with providing you information or perhaps having a discussion with you, as long as that's all right with the attorney, I at least, and I assume that any other board member as well would be willing to meet with you and have a discussion.
Okay, yeah, sure, I do appreciate that. I had heard there was some kind of phrasing like that metal roofing was historically significant in the character of the village rather than literally on my house per se, but I haven't been able to read the original that Rand, please find it.
There is a statement to that effect, and I'm not looking at it and I'm not reading it to you directly right now, but it discusses that type of roofing in the village was typically on the agricultural buildings. So
okay.
Dorothea, can you be sure that Ms. Heatwolf gets a copy of those meetings, December 3rd, 2008, when the application for 27 Rand Place, those minutes, can you get her the minutes? She doesn't need the whole set, but just for that application.
Yep.
Okay.
Ms. Heatwolf, I will email those to you.
And then if you want to discuss those findings at all, I at least would be happy to meet with you, and I suspect other board members would be willing to as well. Although we can't meet, not more than 2 of us can be together in the same place at the same time without a notice that it's a meeting.
And as long as everyone understands that whatever is said at those informal meetings is in no way indicative of how the board will deal with this issue.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Could I ask one other question? What's the current roof made out of?
So, I mean, I had steel, corrugated steel roofing placed over the asphalt. So nothing was removed. I mean, I understand it appears that it was, but instead of doing a tear off, partly to not, tear off is quite a thing for the neighbors. So it's just, the metal is protecting the existing roof. So the asphalt roof is still in place. There's a metal roof over it that was able to stop the leaking.
It's like a coated steel.
Yeah, it's the contemporary steel housing roofing.
It's Kynar coated steel, and Ms. Heatwolf, it's not corrugated, it's standing seam.
Standing seam.
Which is different than corrugated. Corrugated, I think people would be horrified about.
I'm sorry, I mixed it up. I'm a little tired.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. I just want board members to be clear about it.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to our next applicant, please. Thank you very much. We're moving on to 24 Washington.
I want to let you know Mrs. Wyland is on now for 18 South Main.
Okay,
I do see her. I think I recommend the board go to 24 and then we'll go to Miss Wyland.
Okay, so we're going to go to 24 Washington Ave for new windows. Is Lisa on with us?
Yes, she is. She can speak now.
Okay, hi Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So I have a quick question for you. What you're proposing is an additional window, correct?
Correct.
You're not changing anything, any other windows on the building?
We're changing a block of 3 windows to
so let's say, so I have proposed window locations, and this is the existing. So you have a 3 existing windows here.
Yeah.
Right? And you're proposing to put these 2 windows in that space.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And are these 2 windows wood windows?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I believe there was a spec sheet that was submitted with the material listed.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have questions for Lisa on this project?
No, I'm looking at what I believe is a revised sheet that's showing 1 added window, 2 sets of 2 new windows. And at our last meeting, I requested that if she's going to have paired windows, that the mullion between them be the same dimension as the mullion between the paired windows in the attic,
right?
In the attic floor on the front of the house.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's the new one. Correct, Lisa?
Yes, that's right. They were revised to have the same width of mullion in between the set.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Does Ken, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I don't.
Bill McBride?
I do not.
Kendra?
Nope.
Okay,
does anybody want to make a motion for this project?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Let me pull out my motion sheet. And you have the HPB on, oh geez.
February 16th.
I know, I'm just looking where Ken wrote on it. So now I have to think what the date is. You know the date, Dorothy. I make a motion that the HPB approve as submitted the application for 4 new windows, 2 pairs of 2 as presented for the property located at 24 Washington Avenue, owned by John and Lisa Heisman. No conditions. The findings of fact are that the proposed new windows are wood windows, same as the existing windows, that the windows will have, the paired windows will have a mullion of the same size as the other paired window in the property. The application meets the guidelines and standards adopted by the HPB, and the application represents no negative impact on the historic resource.
I second.
Okay, roll call vote. Member Evans?
Yes.
Member McBride?
Yes.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Chairperson Cove?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Okay, so we have Jessica Wyland on.
I will allow her to speak. Ms.
Hi,
Wyland,
Jessica.
you're allowed to speak.
Hi, how are you guys?
Great. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to the village. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Excited to be here with my second business next to the one that's been there for a few years.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
Just spanning right through. Okay.
Yeah.
So I see the picture of your sign. It's the same placement as the sign next to it, overhead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's pretty color. I only have a black and white print.
It's a black and white photo. I may have handed in a color print, but the photo, it's the sign itself is going to actually be black and white. Very similar to the sign we have on the business next door.
And the sign on the business next door is black and white as well.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Same material?
Yep, same material. Gup Signs, who did our first sign, is going to be doing this sign as well.
And is the sign the same exact size?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Thought it was a very straightforward application, and I think it looks great. So
We like.
I feel the same.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. So, do you want me to make the motion?
Yes, please.
Unless somebody else wants to. This is an easy one. Okay. At the meeting of the HPB on February 16, 2022, the following motion was made. I make a motion that the HPB approve as submitted for the application for a sign made by Jessica Weiland at the property of 18 to 20 South Main Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Kendra Evans.
Okay, roll call. Member Searle?
Yes.
Member McBride?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Evans?
Yes.
Chairperson Coe?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, so as far as I see here, we have all of our applications, our applicants here, but we do have two information onlys. One is 58 State Street. Is that right? 58 State Street, yes.
Okay, and I believe that's Mr. Cameron. I cannot say his last name. I apologize profusely.
It's Caramana.
Thank you. So sorry.
No problem.
You're able to speak.
Okay, I guess I know it's information only and I haven't filled out a formal application, but I had Blake held out to my residents as well. I guess the condition of many of the windows, all I was asking for is if I could put something in that was aesthetically exactly the same or comparable to the old windows, that many of them are, the frames and sills are warped, paint's deteriorated. These are just notes I took down. Many of the sashes don't even open and close. Many of the storm windows that are there are just, they're just ugly. And I know your job is to preserve. What I have there is not preserving. It just aesthetically is very unattractive from the street. With the metal storms are just ugly. The windows are, many of them are inoperable altogether, which they'd have to be completely taken apart. I'm okay with spending more money if you're okay with allowing me to spend more money to put in new windows and make it pretty again.
So you're proposing you want to take out the original windows?
Yep.
All the windows in the whole house?
So most of the windows, there is the front section, the back section of the house was post 1950, I believe he had said was an addition. And that those were not preservation windows from what he had said. He said those could be replaced with ones that the boards would approve. The ones that he said would be a possibility that I would not be able to replace, he said that I could repair, but I guess you can really repair anything you want, would be all of the main home, the windows in the main home. So yes, all of them are old warped, just very poorly conditioned windows with metal aluminum storm windows. And then the upstairs, if you look at I don't know if you have a visual picture, but the third floor, those are just, there's not even sashes in the one window, and those are just falling right out.
Oh, I know. So I was just going to say, I don't have a picture of this house. I don't even know what we're talking about, but this is Mark Harrington's house. Is that right? Where he used to live?
I don't know. I'm not sure who I bought it from. I bought it from,
yes.
Yes, it is. Because I actually stopped over there today.
Cool.
With my dog, and I looked in the windows. So I actually have a question. Is that a two-family?
Yes, it is.
Was it all two-family?
I don't know if it was built as a two-family or not. I believe it was built as a single family, and the reason I think is there was a back stairwell to get into the second apartment, which wouldn't make logical sense. You would think that if it was built as a two-family, it wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah. Okay, so now I know exactly what house you're talking about. Okay.
If you look closely, and if you did look through the window, you'll notice the window that's in the front, the main huge window, and you could be the strongest man in the world, and it's not closing. And we've had some of our contractors, no one can get it even closed, and I know it would have to be taken apart, but I think that's indicative of many of the windows there. They just don't even open and close, and they're just in very, very poor condition.
So are the windows there wood?
Yes.
And would you want to replace them with wood?
Yes.
Do you have any written evaluation by Blake Held on this?
Yes, he
Yes, we do.
It was in the packet.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Lisa?
Yes.
Blake quite clearly separates the original front portion of the house wood windows as being repairable, and
yes,
the ones in the rear not repairable.
Yes,
and
I saw that.
The storm windows, in my opinion, are not, they're a removable part of the window. They're not integral to the house. You're right. Aluminum storm windows look terrible, and they typically don't last long and become very difficult to use. But in my opinion, I would go with Blake's comments on this. If the original front portion of the house has wood windows, those windows should be repaired, in my opinion, and the rear windows could be replaced.
I add to that, the rear of the rear of the house at all visible from a public way?
Well, I think so. I can see it on the photograph on the blue form that's right there. That's on the screen right now.
A portion of it would be, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot to include this part because it was information only, but I figured I'd throw it up on screen for the board.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dorothea.
So that's probably, where, again, we can't give you a final answer, but I agree with Ginny about the fact that, that if they can be repaired, we'd rather have you repair them. And if the backside is not repairable, then that's, that would be separate, but that's kind of where I'd lean. Doesn't mean I'd vote that way, but that's where, the information I've been presented with, that's where I make my conclusion.
So can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Would I, so if I was forced to repair the wood windows that really are just, if they were in anyone's home, they would want to replace them. But if I was forced to repair those, would I then keep aesthetically the storm windows, which are just very ugly? No. Would I keep those on as well? No. So I would have a single pane wood window and I have one furnace heating a 2,000 square foot home that I would have to pay the whole heating bill. That's
no, you need to have storm windows, but you don't have to have the existing storm windows. You repair the wood windows and you get new storms. That would be the best fix.
Cool. Don't really know what my argument would be besides that if it was anyone else's home, they'd want to replace the windows. I mean, when you can't even open and close probably 30% of them, and they're just warped and they're just, they're 100 years old. So I don't know.
My windows are 112 years old and they operate very well. And
you took care of them though. Whoever lived in this home, I think it's just what hasn't been taken care of. That's just
that's the point. They haven't been taken care of, but they can be repaired and made operable. That's the point. The wood is good, the glass is good, because they lack. Now, what did Blake say? He said they're missing pulleys. They're missing.
Yeah.
There are various reasons why the windows may not be operating right now. They may simply be painted shut. That's a very common reason why people say they can't open their windows, because they've been painted shut. Maybe the sash cord is broken. Maybe the weights are not correctly balanced for for the windows, but they are repairable. The same expert that we've been referring to says they're repairable. So I would lean towards repair.
Okay, so my next step would be to fill out an application to have them replaced, and then you would make your evaluation based upon that?
Yes.
Okay.
So can I just give you, again, it's really important for the applicants to understand kind of like what we're reading and what we're seeing. In our design standards under windows and shutters, it says homeowners may be concerned that their historic windows are not as energy efficient as replacement windows. Caulking window openings, installing weather stripping will help stop air infiltration and energy loss. Repairing and installing sash locks will help rails meet tightly and therefore stop drafts. Interior exterior storm windows will further reduce energy loss. Exterior storm windows will also be the same colors as sash. Many factory options are available today. Despite false marketing claims, historic windows with properly fitted storms have virtually the same thermal efficiency as a new window and will last much longer because of the superior quality of the wood. So again, just understanding where we're coming from will help you to kind of understand why we say the things we say. I hope.
I guess your job is to preserve. I understand. My job is to make my home look better and make it nicer for everyone to enjoy when they walk by, and make my utility bills lower, no matter what. That I know you had made a statement there, but that's far from true. I mean, I don't know, the thermal efficiency I could get into. I've studied on windows a lot. I know the thermal efficiency is actually considerably better on a replacement window versus that. And
that's absolutely incorrect.
Okay, well, I guess everyone has an opinion, and I guess facts are facts when you read it. When you read it, maybe I've read 10 articles that were incorrect, and maybe I've spoken to professionals and experts that were incorrect, and maybe all that is true. But all I'm trying to say is, if I put in something that looks exactly aesthetically as the original window, I just don't understand why. And I understand you have guidelines that you have to adhere to, but I don't understand why I wouldn't be able to put in something that's exactly aesthetically the same. Everyone's life gets better, they last for a lot longer, and we all move on. But understood.
Excuse me.
You might want to reach out to them.
They do not last longer. The warranty on those replacement windows is like 25 or 30 years, and that's not a lot longer.
Okay.
You will not recoup the cost of the new windows in energy savings ever. It's like a 45 or 50-year payback. Just so that you're aware of the facts. And that's not what your window salesperson is going to tell you.
wasn't actually talking about a Windows salesperson, but that's okay. I understand. Everyone has an opinion. I understood.
There was another applicant before us tonight with a very similar request. You might want to reach out to him because he's already been through the experience.
Okay, excellent.
The one on Heather.
Everyone for your time. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mark.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. And then we have the Village Hall, information only. Dorothy, are you going to be the Village Hall spokesperson?
Sort of, kind of. Mayor Plummer is here, as well as Jennifer Ahrens from Barrow to represent us. So I am going to unmute, allow them to talk and see what they have to say, because I believe Jennifer Ahrens will be better able to represent and discuss the historic factors of the building better than I can. Mayor Plummer, I muted you too in case you wanted to join in.
Jennifer, I'm going to say a quick hi, but I can't participate, and I'm going to excuse myself for just a moment.
Jennifer, are you there? Hopefully I didn't.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. Hi, Virginia. Good to see
Jennifer.
you. Virginia was my former business partner, and we miss her every day.
and longtime friend. We started together at Bureau about 6 months apart from each other.
Yes, back in 95 or something, 1995. Yes, I'm here to present the design. Do you want me to go through it, Dorothea?
Sure, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, I can share my screen?
Yes, I've allowed you. You're powerful.
Boy, now I've got to open up. So give me just a minute to find
and I can go over a brief history. The Village of Pittsford, the Legion downstairs had received a grant to repair and make more passable the back stairs. If you're familiar with coming into the village from the back entrance, it's to the corner towards going towards Main Street. Those stairs are in terrible condition. We're very concerned with anybody using them. The Legion gentlemen like to use them, and we cringe because I'm very afraid someone's going to fall and hurt themselves. So we received a grant for $100,000. At the time we received the grant, we couldn't front the money to move forward. So this grant kind of got tabled. The former Mayor Corby worked with Barrow, and designs were developed prior to that. And we got to a state where we almost were ready to go out to bid for the project. So at this point, we found we still have the grant money available, and we really want to move forward with getting this done. And that's kind of where we're at. We reached out to Jennifer, and she was shocked too to see that we still had the money available to us. So the village board is agreed to move forward and have Jennifer represent us. And we wanted to bring it to you as information only to prepare ourselves for a formal application for the board.
This is Bill McBride. Let me add a little historic perspective to that too. We're talking about, if people don't know, that we're talking about the American Military Legion who's in the basement. They have some handicapped people. They have difficulty getting in and out with the current stairways as they are.
I would agree with that, Bill, but the only thing, the stairs aren't going to be handicap accessible. We are not adding an elevator, and Jennifer will go over this. It'll be a safer entrance than the current entrance.
And a much more shorter entrance for those handicapped people, right?
I'll let Jennifer speak to that. I can't, but it will be much safer.
Okay.
Yes. Do you see the picture of the village hall, or do you see drawings?
You see the hall.
Okay. All right. So here's a picture. I'll just run through really quickly. This is the existing steep set of stairs that goes down. And this is a view from the parking lot toward the village hall. Let me go back to the drawing set. So to give you a little background, we started this project with Mayor Corby and Dorothea in October of 2018. We met with Al Hertzclock. How do you say his name?
Hertzclock, so you got it.
Yes, he's the current, and then he was the Legion post commander. And we were asked to develop with them a design to replace these existing steps in order to improve safety and aesthetics from the parking lot into the American Legion room. You know, this was a pre-COVID era, and as Dorothea mentioned, it's a highly used room by the community. They hosted a particularly popular and well-attended Tuesday morning breakfasts. And that was a real concern of the Legion and the village to address the safety concerns of these steep stairs. So the current exterior concrete steps, they're steep, they're narrow, they have non-compliant guard that protects at the top of its retaining walls. And then at the interior, there's a set of steep interior steps up to a non-compliant exit door. The door's height and width are not compliant with code regulations. The door is less than 6 foot tall and less than 3 foot wide. And the interior landing, as you see here, is just a little triangular slice, and this is not compliant for safe egress in and out of a door. So the scope of work includes replacing the existing concrete steps to the basement with a wider, more gently sloped stairs. Here's here it shows it a plan excuse me, this is the first floor plan. So you would come off the parking lot and have a shared concrete walk either to go to the front door or to go to the new basement entry. Then it takes you down to a larger landing at the bottom of the stairs. And then we have a roof canopy that's designed, it's a hip roof designed to cover the landing to reduce the buildup of snow and ice. It's proposed to have a standing seam zinc or tin zinc alloy coated copper roof that's compatible with the Village Hall. As you see, the Village Hall has hipped roofs with the archaic field formed standing seam, as Virginia talked about in an earlier application. And a significant part of this work is to lower the landing level so that, and to increase the size of the existing masonry opening that is the existing door, so that a code compliant door and a landing on each side can be provided. So as you see, when you're in the American Legion Hall, you will enter in and go to one solid landing and then take 2 steps down. So it's just a better than coming into a real small landing, then down some steep steps and then down in some other steps. To address Bill McBride's comments, it was a consideration, and both Mayor Corby at the time and Al both we did go through looking at providing for full accessibility. We looked at providing ramps and providing an exterior lift, and we even priced them. But due to the depth of the basement, the visual and spatial impact of providing an at-grade exterior ramp really is a negative impact on your building. It was extremely long, a lot of switchbacks. And then eventually, as concrete ramps are, they become a maintenance concern for the owner. Also, that's why we eliminated the idea of an exterior lift, because that's equipment that's outside is always a maintenance. We never like to suggest anyone put in an exterior lift. So the current accessible route to the basement, where you enter at the first floor main entrance door and take a stair lift, or a chair lift, excuse me, down the main stairs, it was determined to be the best solution to provide accessibility for people with mobility issues. So lastly, just wanted to point out that the metal guards will be matched the design of the north entrance walk-in ramp, and we're studying including heated sidewalks that will again enhance the safety for occupants to get in and out of the Legion Room. So that concludes sort of what I prepared for you.
I have a question. This is Lisa Cove.
Yes.
There is a talk of some kind of canopy.
Yes, there's the canopy. Can you see that?
No.
It's in red here.
Okay, so
it's a small canopy roof that would protect the door below, because you would go down the stairs and the canopy covers that bottom landing. And the canopy is, it's red in our drawing, but because we couldn't change it to gray, but really it would match the lead coated copper roof that you have on your Village Hall. And
it wouldn't cover any of that window at all.
Correct. These are just some SketchUp renderings of preliminary of what we're proposing.
Does the canopy have to sit up there? Can't you have a covered over the door down below instead of sticking up out of the ground?
Well, the door head is,
because what's there now to cover the door?
Here's an example right here. Right now there's I'm going to switch over to the photos.
Yeah, cardboard.
It's like
it's
here's
it's
this
like a piece of wood with some shingles on it. I don't think it's anything.
So the purpose for that is to keep the weather off of the entrance of the door, correct?
Correct. It keeps ice and snow from building up at the bottom of the ramp to allow it to be as safe as possible.
So I'm just wondering,
yeah.
Is there another option than to have that kind of protruding out of the ground?
Okay, so here's an elevation right here. And you can see that we have retaining walls that are surrounding the steps that go down. And then we have the roof on top of those retaining walls. I guess to limit the amount of earthwork in order to, because we'd have to provide retaining walls if we wanted to recess a roof area, that we would have to provide more retaining walls to protect then the roof covering. So it's possible, and we will look. Yes, Virginia, you got your hand raised.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Jennifer, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure that the roof on the Village Hall now was bright copper. It's patinaed now, but I think it's bright copper, not lead coated.
Okay.
That was my job.
Well, then you know. I know George Easton did the work, but yeah.
The elevation.
Oh, you're muted again. You're muted again, Virginia. I'm sorry. Never mind. She said never mind. I did read that, yes.
If I could circle back to that covering, it looks on the elevation drawing as if it sits lower than the railing, even if it's not accurate. So it's not, yeah.
Yep, it does. This is a model of it. Do you see the model with the red roof?
As we were talking about it, and it's obviously a great improvement over what's currently there, especially if it matches the roofing above. But just as some of the concerns, I think rather than adding a retaining wall, this is still lower in elevation than the windows and the railing, and it makes sense to me.
And it's below the window. That was a good question, whoever noted that.
I have a question. What are the windows that are shown in the drawings of the existing building that are below the Earth's surface?
These, there must be areaways in window wells. Here you can see in the photo.
Okay.
Yes, those are from the basement. Some are in our furnace room.
Okay.
Some are in the hallway.
Window wells.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, here they're shown in plan. They're window wells.
Okay.
So again, as Dorothea said, we're engaged again by the village. And so we're basically looking for a concept. Yeah, you're headed in the okay direction. We will be coming back with more detailed plans and with a materials list, but we wanted to make sure we were on the right path and that you approved and thought it was appropriate and compatible. We will also be reviewing this with the SHPO through the contract document phase.
The roof that you've got on it right now has a slight pitch to it, right?
Correct.
And that pitch is less than the pitch of the roof over the whole building, right?
Do you mean our proposed design, sir?
Yes.
That will be something that we evaluate as we move into the construction documents, but yes, it's trying to get as close as possible to match the, I'm gonna have to pull out Virginia's drawings from when she worked on the roofing replacement, but yes, that is the intention of the design, that we will match the upper roof.
And I have a question that's not really under our purview, but you said heated sidewalks, and I'm just wondering if there's drainage at the bottom since it's totally exposed and we're worried about slippage on those stairs.
Great question. Yes, there'll be a floor drain that is connected into the underground stormwater system.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Now,
I will point out that the sidewalk going into the side entrance to the village hall is heated already, and we have no issues with it. It's fabulous. Provides definitely a safe entrance in. And this being a secondary entrance, it makes sense, especially since we anticipate the Legion using it the most.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Yeah, I think it's great.
But I will remind the board, we are ADA compliant because we do have the chair lift when people come through the side entrance to get everybody downstairs. This is just providing a second entrance, as Jennifer indicated. A much safer second entrance.
Okay, thank you. Did we lose Lisa?
Oh, I'm here.
There you are. I couldn't see you on my screen. Where'd she go?
Okay, so then does the board have any other questions from Barrow?
I don't.
Well, thank you for that presentation. We look forward to hearing more.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jeff, we need to have a little meeting, or should we do the minutes and then close, or do we stay on? How do we do this for executive session?
Not an executive session, it's attorney-client session.
Attorney-client session.
Which you don't have to have from a regular meeting. You can do whatever you want. You just have to make sure the public's not here.
Okay, so I think it might be best if we close our meeting, but I think we've got minutes, correct?
Yes, you have several sets of minutes.
Sets of minutes.
3 sets. You're getting caught up.
Thank you. It's really hard to look back in my brain to October 19th.
Mine too.
That dropped off about October 20th.
I'm still trying to get over last week. I can't even remember that. So
I do have so the minutes for Monday, December 13th, for 15 Austin Park, information only. It says proposal is to expand the garage with bedroom above, to which the board provided general feedback. Do we have what feedback we provided? Because there's no feedback here. I think that we're going to need to know what feedback we offered them so that when they come back, we can make sure that they took our feedback. I don't know what the feedback was. It's not written here.
well, I can review the tape and add the feedback.
Okay, thank you, Dorothea. Otherwise, I don't have any other comments or changes. Does anybody else have any other changes to the minutes?
If you pass them as a group, I will abstain because I wasn't at the other 2 sets of minutes. Just
you can't pass them as a group.
Perfect. I just wanted to go ahead and say that.
No, you have to do each one individually.
Great. Okay.
Okay, Dorothea, what do you want to do? Which
All
one?
right, so the minutes for October 19th, it appears that Chairperson Cove, Virginia Searle, Jeff Pollack, and Ken Morrow can vote on those minutes.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the October 19th meeting minutes. Do I get a second?
I second.
Okay, roll call. Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Chairperson Cove?
Yes.
Motion passes. I'm going to assume the rest will abstain.
Abstain, yes.
Okay, November 8th. And it looks like we have Chairperson Cove, Member Searle, Member Pollack, Member Morrow. So
okay,
we have 3. We have 3.
To approve Monday, November 8th meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Chairperson Coe.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And then the December minutes, you have to provide us with the feedback information. So you'll have to bring those back then.
Are you okay with me just adding it and going ahead and approve them with that correction?
I would rather see them, please.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I make a motion to end our HPB meeting for February 16th, 2022.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, Steve?
Yeah,
Yes.
there are a couple things I'd like to discuss, and I don't know if it's appropriate while the meeting's open. Were we going to have a discussion, attorney-client afterwards? Am I allowed in that, or should we have a discussion now?
Why don't we close the meeting and then you can discuss what you need to discuss, and then we could close it off, and then we could meet with Jeff. How's that?
It's up to Jeff. It's however you have to process.
Okay. So
I'm not entirely comfortable with a board meeting outside without the public being able to be present outside of an attorney-client and or executive session. So
you're saying Steve needs to talk right now?
But we're not.
Or we invite him to the executive or to the attorney-client session, which is perfectly appropriate.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I ask a question before you move on to close the meeting? It's simply, there was some continuing education, but I never really saw what it was. Is it in one of those emails?
I think the opportunity is passed.
Okay.
It is passed.
All right, good.
Okay, so I make a motion to end the official meeting for February 16th. Do I have a second?
Bill McBride, I second.
Okay, Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member McBride?
Yes.
Member Evans?
Yes.
Chairperson Coe?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me stop recording, please.